Hey everybody, Coach Duality here with episode 2, working with Disparity. Let's go ahead and get things started here. So let's talk about this play a little bit and try to break it down. So here, Disparity is 2 in the rotation, pushing up in the ball to follow U-Juice. U-Juice makes his touch. And as 2 here, Disparity needs to make sure that he's playing on the ball or on the pitch where his teammates are not. Here, he's following it up directly behind U-Juice, so he's not giving himself time to react to what U-Juice is doing, and he's also overcommitting in their positioning on the field. So now they're both stuck in one spot, and Kalamek is left there by himself to defend. So, how would we do this better? As we're rotating up here, noticing that first touch, make sure that you're rotating a little bit wider. Take a path a little bit more towards the left there, and give yourself some time to react to what U-Juice is doing and the challenge on the play. Because you're doing that so quickly, you're not giving yourself time to understand what's going to happen, and like I said, you're overcommitting on positioning. I think you're going up a little bit too early for those aerials still. Give yourself a little bit more time to react to the play on the field. And here, while you're rotating back, you're trying to challenge again, and you really don't want to be doing that. You're really far up in the pitch in the opposing side, right near their net. So as soon as you make your touch or approach the ball, you want to make sure that you're just rotating out towards the back of the pitch into that third spot, and giving your teammates time and space to work on the ball. Because you start turning, you see how it chokes up you and Kalamek there, and then all 3 of you are thrown out of the play. If you rotated back a little bit quicker, U-Juice would have been a little bit quicker to challenge that ball from there, so. So here, Kalamek is rotating a little bit too straight onto the play instead of around. So let's try to watch this from his point of view. So U-Juice is behind him. He's rotating back here. If he's not going to be making a play on the ball, he needs to understand where you are. So he needs to be making sure that he's taking ball cam off to check where you are, and making sure that he rotates wide around behind you, which would be to back post. Here he cuts towards near post, and you both find yourself there. So you sort of choke each other up on who should be going for the ball. Anytime you're rotating around, just make sure you're going wide. Play the part of the field that your teammates can't. So here you're taking a little bit too direct of a line towards them. When you're playing it around here, from this touch you gotta make sure that you're getting it up and above Bumdy. So here you're making a touch on the center of the ball. As you're coming down from that corner, go towards the right of the ball. Your positioning in regards to the ball is really important because it's going to allow you to make much cleaner and effective touches on the ball, instead of trying to react for making touches on the center. Get yourself where you need to be as quick as possible. And here, you're rotating straight back to net instead of going to that near post. So if we look at U-Juice here, he's going to back post. So if you communicated that, I would say that that would be okay. I believe U-Juice would be the next person on the ball in the rotation, but that rotation is pretty malleable. It's not exactly black and white, so if you're communicating correctly, you're okay. What's wrong here is U-Juice is coming from back post onto the ball as third man in the rotation here. He needs to recognize where he is in the play and how we should be reacting. Instead, he gets up a little bit close to you, and you see it's hard for him to follow up your touch here. He's not in a good spot to follow up the play. So I think you just needed to get at that a little bit quicker. You're hesitating to challenge him. Just keep on to this turn and challenge him from his touch. Even if it's not the greatest, U-Juice is rotating around behind you, so he has some time to react to that play. You just want to make sure that you're getting in Bumdy's face. And also, if you turned around immediately up there, U-Juice would have someone to play it to once he goes for it. Where here you kind of find yourself just panicking a little bit in the defensive end. It's a really nice team play there. Good job looking out for each other. It's good rotations there from everyone. So this cut across the pitch is pretty risky here. Yuju should be starting to push back up onto this play immediately from where he is, so he would still be going up to play this from that side. So if you didn't cut across here, you would still be in a good spot to play it from him. But if you do, if Yuju is closer here, you can be cutting him off, and you're not looking around to make yourself aware of that, and you're not in a good spot to challenge in the first place. So if you do decide to do this, you're going a little bit too farther here. Make sure you're going a little bit slower to react to the ball from the wall. See, it pops out a little bit too far, and because you drove too close to it, you're under the ball. Good job sitting back there and waiting for the play, so you should be next on it. Good job challenging. And you're okay to keep following this up here as the one-man. Breakaway situations are usually the case of that. Good job getting to the right side of that ball there to play it. Kalamek needs to be following that up a little bit earlier. He can start creeping out a little bit more. That way he knows he's giving you time to play the ball. It's a good challenge from Bumney there. Good attempt from Kalamek on the save. It's pretty rough. You're a little bit too quick to rotate into playing that ball. Ujuice is pretty far afield, and Kalamek's pretty heavily committing to this. So you want to make sure that you're staying back post from here and watching the play progress and then getting up for it, because you're still closer to where it's going to be than Bumney, so you can still beat him to the ball, but you're a little too antsy to keep driving forward there. So try to slow yourself down a little bit more when you're rotating into that back post position. There's the double commitment. I think Kalamek was a little bit farther back in the pitch. Yeah, so Ujuice is exactly where that ball is going to be going, and he should be the one playing on it, especially because he's farther up on the pitch. He'd be 2-spot, or was 2 initially with you that far up, but now he should be 1, so he should be playing that ball. And Kalamek, recognizing that he's farthest back on the pitch with you that far up, needs to be making sure that he's waiting in case the play goes over him. But he's a little bit too anxious to get up to the ball there. And here, your finish, I think you're a little bit too early again to get up for this, so wait. You can wait a little bit longer to get up, because they couldn't have beat you to the ball from here. Jmonta's out of the play, Whiffles is under it, and Bumney's sort of flying out of control. So, I mean, yeah, Whiffles could get to this if he read it really well, but you're committing to a line too far straight forward. So if you are getting up that early, make sure that you're really thinking about where the ball is going to be. It's bouncing with a pretty tight angle to the right, so you want to be getting up a little bit more to the right here. But you point your card towards the left, which is where the ball is and not where it's going. So that's why you're pushing yourself out of the line of the ball. Yeah, in that situation, you just have to cut it across laterally as quick as possible. Trust your teammate to be there and just get to the ball on the right side and just push it over. Beat the defender to it. So here you shouldn't be jumping off the wall. Think again a little bit more about rotation. You made your attempt at that, and now Kalamek should be looking to play that, and Ujuice will be rotating behind. So you should be good to start rotating wide around, maybe like going towards around the middle of the net, but covering where your teammates will not be. But when you jump off like this and face them, not only does that choke them up, but they can also hit this ball into you, which is incredibly dangerous. So you're not going to make like a good touch or like pass with that ball, so just rotate off of it. Trust your teammates to play it, because that line of approach is incredibly important. I don't know if you meant to pass this down, but your line here is too high in regards to the ball. If you're trying to pop that up for a teammate, your number one sight of looking at that ball should be playing it from the left and underneath here to give it some height. But you're turning your card to the right and meeting it on the high side of the ball and just pushing it down, so thinking about what you're doing even more before you perform it will help you to like be a little bit more consistent with your angles and touches on the ball. It's a pretty weak touch from Calomac. I think you might have been better to take that from the play there. Good pass over to Calomac. Yeah, I think honestly you should have just went for that ball a little bit earlier. You see Yuju's coming behind here, so he's rotating wide behind you, and he'll be behind to cover your play from the pitch. So Calomac knocks it up, so one of you should be there to follow it, and you can go for that because you should trust Yuju's to follow it up, and Calomac should also be rotating wide behind to follow up from Yu's hit and give him confidence. But you see Calomac still sitting on that side of the pitch right next to you, and you should be the one to go for it next. You're a little bit too late to go for that, and I'm sure you know that, but when I'm going for a touch like this, you need to remember the fact, like, that ball is going to be going down, so practice just getting out for that earlier. You need to make sure that you're going to meet it where it's going. And that overcommitment's going to be punished. I think you might be a little too quick to get to the ball there. Single jump into an aerial would have given you a lot more power. That line is pretty dangerous there. I think you should be rotating a little bit farther around. So think about it like this. This turn that you're making is towards your net. So right here, the ball is going back towards your net, and you need to make sure that you're behind it in regards to where it's going to be bouncing out to so you can play it. But you're turning here towards where it's going, towards the net, so your line is pretty awkward. If you made a wider, like, sharp turn, you would have been looking at that from behind as it goes out, but instead you're looking at it from where it's going. And that gives you, like, you sort of just panic there because you're not in a good line to touch it. I don't think you should be dodging there either. I mean, it's not too important here at this point, but you can beat him to that ball, and you want to get some height on it. If you dodge into it, you're not going to get a powerful shot like that you need. So your best hope is to just get it high, knock it off backboard, and play it from there. So pretty similar problems here again. People are rotating a little bit too tight onto the ball. Play the ball as, you know, play it aggressively as the 1 and 2 spot, follow up each other's touches, but rotate off quickly and wide. Think about what side of the pitch you should be covering, and making sure that you're placing yourself in the spots that your teammates can't cover. That's incredibly important. Anytime you're too close, you're choking each other up, at least subconsciously, whether you realize it or not. So, and Disparity, I think you should be waiting a little bit longer again to get up for your aerials. Other than that, you guys didn't play too poorly, but your rotations really messed you up on this one. So be sure to like the video if this helped you out at all, and hopefully I will see you guys in episode 3. Thanks.